There is this angel saying, I'm gonna find my way back home. The secret is love, he said. You've got to lift yourself up.
Hi there, and welcome to your modern shaman, Maria in RainbowLand, here with the weekly Heartful forecast of the 5 signs of the week for the week that starts at the 18th of September and ends at the 26th, from Tuesday till Wednesday the following week. First, I want to say this before we go on with the 5 signs of the week, that we have to remember again that the whole summer and still we are going through big transformational phases. If you are a light worker and you are one of the forerunners that really wants to stand in the foreground of helping people move forward on the ascendance level on this planet, where we change the way we are when we are together with other people, where we alter our consciousness and open our hearts even more. If you're one of the forerunners, then you have to remember that as I said it many times before, but I want to repeat it also if you're new to the channel, that a space between where you change who you used to be and you go into the new stage of the person your higher self or your soul really wants to go, can be a hard process. So try not to panic if you feel like you're scared of what's coming and you feel like you cannot trust people, you cannot. Whenever you're going through a breakdown, it means you're breaking through something. And there's a space between the breakthrough and the actual ascension where you reach a new level of consciousness, a new way of being. And that space, especially if you're one of the forerunners, you know, if you're one of the Aryan types that are here to inspire others in particular, then probably more or less everything in your life is changing right now. So don't be afraid, just have trust in the process and keep focusing upon the dreams and the goals that you know you're heading towards. Then it shall surely manifest little by little if you let go of the details, but just let it come in whatever way the universe wants to present it to you. If you're not one of the forerunners, but one of the followers, the people that takes some of the hard work of actually leading other people towards enlightenment, then of course something is also changing in your life as well right now, and it's the same for you guys. Try to stay in a state of trust in the process. So the first sign of the week is that the Sun and Mercury are moving signs, and we have the equinox. So sign number 1, we are shifting from the Virgo energy into the Libra energy. So we've had a long time of deep healing crisis, perhaps even, all that has been going on during the summer. Communications has been made, you have talked to people about it, you have thought about it, you have arranged it inside of your system, your body, you've integrated different health systems that will help you move forward in the right way with the rhythms of your body, with the health, the fitness, diets, sleeping patterns. You've been organizing things so that you can move along. And now it's time to actually go out of the earth energy, where you've been manifesting certain things physically, and then start moving into where you start integrating it in your conversations with other people on all levels of relationships. Of course, this also depends on which sign you are, but we always have the collective level, and moving from Virgo into Libra always shifts the focus from health, day-to-day routines, work issues, to relationships in general. And of course, this can mean a lot of things because we have relationships with a lot of different people. So it's time now to open up towards the communication and know that whenever the Sun and Mercury are conjunct or close to each other, the Sun can burn the tongue of the people who are talking. So be aware of you not being too sharp when you're in a communication with other people. So watch out for your tongue. So if someone actually chooses to snap at you or are a little too quick to run you over verbally, know that it's because the sun is conjunct Mercury during the week. On the 22nd, Mercury passes in, and on the 23rd into Libra. The sun will go into Libra. So it's around these days, a little before, a little after, 1 to 2 days before and after, that this is potent. Then we have the equinox as well, around the same time. So the fall equinox. So these are a shift. Fall and winter is coming, and if we are in the northern hemisphere, and of course vice versa in the southern. So, and for you, Capricorn, this is something to do with your 10th house. Mercury and the sun is moving into your goal-oriented, career-minded, ambitious, actually your house, the 10th house. And as it goes in there, it's going to be in opposition to Chiron in your 4th house. So this means that there will be a lot of focus upon your face in the world, but your personal life, your family situation, something in your home, in your emotional sphere, your inner child is going to trigger an old wound where you have been fearing rejection, and maybe someone at work or in your public life is saying something that actually activates this for you. But remember that if you stop judging others and you release judgment about others and start being more compassionate about someone says something, instead of having a reaction, judgment, then you have some compassion for them. This reflects how you treat yourself and vice versa. So try to have compassion with yourself and your wounds, so that you aren't this captain hero that always needs to say, oh, it doesn't matter what I feel, I will do the best so that things will get into order, etc. But try to, before you react to something someone says, or you say something too fast, too harsh, then try not to judge that person in front of you that makes you want to say something, and be responsible for your own feelings and try to feel into why am I feeling this, instead of always thinking that's something wrong with the world and you need to fix it. Then remember that often the people we meet are mirroring something inside of ourselves. Most times. It doesn't have to be exactly what they're saying that they're mirroring, but you have to feel into and use your intuition to overcome and see what it is that makes you want to react. If you have a reaction, it's also always because there is something inside of you triggering what the other says. When you're over with the subject and you're done with some issue inside of you, you wouldn't react, you would just laugh or do like this. So the second sign of the week is the full moon in Aries. That's actually my sign. And the full moon in Aries is special because this is the culmination of something that started half a year ago when we had the new moon in Aries. So whatever you did in this area of your chart that you initiated and that you worked to improve and to put in energy, enthusiasm, fire, dynamic power half a year ago and up until now is going to show its result now. And this full moon is going on very close to Chiron, actually, only 1 degree away, which is also in Aries. So we have the sun in Libra, the beginning degrees of Libra. We have the moon in Aries along with Chiron, and this is squaring Saturn up there in Capricorn. So this is a very interesting combination because we are having to do with cardinal signs, and cardinal signs are all about initiating something, striving for something, you know, because we have the Aries energy where we're striving for something, we want to achieve something, we want to, and you have to use your intuition about also what is this about in your life. What is it that you really want, where you want to assert yourself, strive for it, and start something new, also because it's in the beginning degrees at the same time, as it's in Aries, it's us overcoming some old paradigm, some old energy, starting on a new. And Capricorn being the structures of our society, the structures of our lives, and Libra being other people. Chiron, any relationship that reflects these things, and Chiron being in the sign of the identity sign of me. Where are you wounded in this? I think there are mosquitoes starting to come in and bite me. Aggressive like Mars. Winter mosquitoes, we call them here in Denmark. But anyways, you have to re-examine the thing. Just a second. Let me just do one thing, because I don't want to be eaten by the mosquitoes alive here. So I'm just closing a door. All right. So what we, sorry for that. So what we need now with this full moon is to re-examine the context in which we are striving, so that we can push past these old paradigms. And since it's about Aries, it's of course about the fiery, intense energy, about me, because in Aries it's about I am, this is me. But since we have Libra activated, it's not only about me, it's also you in the context of other people reflecting you. Who are you without someone else, you know? So of course this is, how can I put this? Yeah, I know. One of the best ways to describe this is, we live in an objectified world. This is the old paradigm. So we used to always consider things as, okay, this object we have, I want to have this, I want to be that. It has always been about something outside of ourselves that we objectify in one way or the other. This is my boyfriend, this is my girlfriend, this is what I have, this is what I am. And through this objectification of everything, we lose the actual contact with other people. This is very important, what I'm saying now. So we need to go in and be there, instead of objectifying things so much in our heads. Then meet other people where they are. The Sun in Libra, in relationship signs. New structures being made in this society that used to be so only about objectifying everything around us. Then try to be in it. Let us make this new structure of society, new paradigm, about us actually really connecting Jupiter and Scorpio. Venus in Scorpio, the ruler of Libra is in Scorpio. If you dare to be constantly in your heart instead of outside categorizing everything, but living at 100% present in the moment, then you can manifest what it is that you really want. And we all know that the Lamborghini itself is not going to make you happy. It's fun, yes. I'm not saying you shouldn't wish for it. But you won't find the true happiness before you feel inside of you what it is you want, instead of all the objectifications and the ideas we get about what it is that we want, and feel what is it you want. And this full moon is about the me in context with other people. And we can manifest what we are. So if you're still hanging around in an atmosphere of some idea instead of who you really are, if you stay in that, then you manifest that which you really want, and you fulfill your dreams. And actually we also have the north node of the moon in Leo, which is about this following your heart. And of course it's King Kongsing up there to Saturn in Capricorn. And a King Kongs is always like, we are not in the same modality, and we are not in the same element either. So, of course, Saturn and the North Node wants two different things, but they can go along because North Node wants you to follow your heart now. It's the last degrees of that, and Saturn wants to restructure society, so let them work together. Saturn just has to accept the chaos, in his opinion, what can seem like chaos, so that the heart can get space enough. So that conflict you can meet, of course, within yourself while you're doing it. To say it shortly, put it in short terms. If you want your world to change, there's only one way of changing it. And that is through you changing yourself. If you want your relationships to change, you have to change. Period. Stop focusing so much about what others should do or shouldn't do, and lift your fingers, point your fingers, change yourself and see what happens. If you change, good things will come, and start expecting the worst. No, the best, of course. Start expecting the best. Sign number 3 of this week is Venus again. She's now in Scorpio. And I just have one question for you. Where were you exactly to the date 8 years ago? In 2010, where were you? Around this time, almost to the date. Venus is retrograding from the 5th of October to the, I'm sorry for scratching my nose, from the 5th of October to the 15th of November. She's the grand theme, I know. We're talking a lot about relationships here. And this is the actual retrograde phase, and you know, as I usually say, it goes forward, backwards, forward. This cycle that we're in puts such an emphasis upon Venus's role. She's retrograding for 40 days and 40 nights. I just love that sentence, just to be able to say it. And I will later make a program about when she goes from being an evening star to being a morning star, etc. But we need to focus upon the effects in our lives in these programs. Otherwise, people will get tired of the actual astrology talk. So the thing is that often when we go these 8 years back, which is how long a Venus star or cycle takes to go back to the same place in the zodiac, you can look 8 years back in your life, and 16 years, and 24 years, and etc., etc., etc. And you can look for if something similar to what's going on in your life now is happening. But you have to know that it doesn't have to be exactly the same. You have to know a little bit about the more psychological part of it to see the similarities of patterns, even though it's not the same story. But sometimes it can actually be the exact opposite also, but it's still within the same theme. For example, for me, 8 years ago, I quit the longest relationship of my life, which was with my musical partner during 11 years. We became friends instead. Actually, we were friends for a long time also before, of course, but that was a radical change because we thought we were going to be together for a lifetime. For me now, it's the same theme, exactly the same theme, except from the opposite is kind of happening. And then you can say, but didn't you know, don't you know your partner through the last 1.5 to 2 years? And I'm like, yeah, but not to go too deep into it, but we were both in divorce situations, and the actual start of this relationship won't probably be after January. We have been living together, of course, but a lot of purging from old relationship, working, he's spiritual just like me, very open to everything, and he's been meditating for 26 years, doesn't eat meat, doesn't, has a really, really good heart vibration, he's amazing. He's a diplomat. So he has had to take care of his kids and the divorce, etc. I've had to let go of different things that I brought along from my relationship, etc. So we are actually starting again. I don't mean to go too deep into that. Whereas for 8 years ago, I was ending something with it was the same themes, but it was the opposite, you know, but that was on the table, that was on the schedule. And I had to let go of also tendencies within myself, things that I am not good at. I also have to do that now in order to change. Once again, I'm in a situation where I can see, okay, you need to change this pattern in your relationships. Not just to my partner, in general, to everyone. For example, for me, I'm very bad at, but I'm getting very good at it actually. But I used to be very bad at feeling, where am I? I'm Libra ascendant, last degree, so between Libra and Scorpio, but still on the Libra side. So I tend to always feel what the others want, even though I'm an Aries. And never really think about myself, because my parents would always be, it's a lot of Virgo and Libra, that's pleasing, serving others, da da da. So I have that in my chart. So what I need to learn in relationships is to feel where I am, and to say, just to be able to say no, thank you, when someone asks, oh, could you help me with this? Oh, no, not today. Without explaining for 11 years, excusing myself, instead of just saying no. That is such an achievement for me, and I have been terrible at that, and that always leads to saying yes or at the wrong time for 20 times, and then try number 21 is where you held something back. I'm just like, no, you know, crazy. So that is the whole point, that we need to learn what we are bad at, what we got from our parents that is not serving us anymore, because you got something. So if someone keeps telling you, you're bad at this, like you're too weak, or you're too rigid, or you're too this and that, this time you should listen to what people say around you. Maybe they're not pinpointing it exactly, but there's something, if they keep saying you something, there's something about this theme you need to look upon. I know that for myself. You need to listen at one point to the signs of the universe, you know. And then you have to imagine a solution. You have to be able to imagine a solution. Otherwise you can't create it. You have to imagine it, believe 100% in that it can happen, have some kind of a plan or something you can do whenever you want to fall, close to falling into the old trap, and then the solution will come. Another thing about relationship is this. I talked about the old paradigm and how it's all about us wanting something, you know. We always want 117 different individual goals. This is what I want with my life. This is what I need. And this is how I objectify and see my goals. And this is my economy. We don't share economy. This is mine, and this is what I want, me. Because there's not this us and this common, trying to find the common goals, you know, because there's too much mine and yours and separation. What do you think happens? Then we have all these separations, because we live separate lives, so of course we separate. This leads to isolation. If we want to unite, we need to open up to sharing ourselves, sharing our finances, sharing our feelings, sharing our lives with each other, if we want to be able to bond closely. Instead of just always wanting, you know, control. I mean, you have to focus upon, you manifest through focus, but you also need to let go of the need to control at the same time. You focus upon what you want, and then you give it up to the universe to manifest this for you. These are still signs of manifestation. And of course, in order to clean up in our relationships, an upheaval is needed. So even though you're like, oh, I just don't want to go into another argument or another discussion about this topic because I'm so tired, can't we just be, yeah, well, but you need to get the things up, what it is that you really want, the strong desires, Jupiter and Scorpio, and now Venus there as well. You need to have it up on the table to find out if you actually match. Should you stay together or should you leave? And if your desires doesn't match, then you have to leave, you know. If the one person wants a shared economy and want to marry you and want a baby, and you want a life where you want to live as a bachelor, only see each other every now and then, and just, whenever you have time, you two shouldn't be together. You have to find out if you want the same, and then have the courtesy to leave and to say it, courtesy towards yourself, and of course the other person. Because otherwise you will waste valuable time of your life where you could manifest better things for you on a soul level by being with someone where you really don't want the same thing. Ooh, is that a mosquito? No. Well, first of all, if you really want to see if you have changed and you're transcending, this you will only know in the moment where you are able to not have anger when someone says something to you. So no reaction. And not victimizing yourself. No reaction, no anger, and no victimization. When you can stay neutral is what I'm trying to say. Towards whatever comes. Then you have transcended what this relationship taught you. Not to say that you're not supposed to be together, but then you know with yourself that what used to be a problem is now solved and has changed. For men, the Venus period is about Venus is about what we receive. When we put out our hands like this and are able to receive from life in general. As a man, it's whatever you receive. If it's love, and people are like, yeah, of course I can receive love, but it's not all men who are able to do that. It's not all women at all who are able to do that. It has nothing to do with what sex you are. But when you're able to receive and not be in the dominant or the controlling role, then you have taught the Venus lessons, of course with the balance. And as a woman, when you can receive neutrally without the reactions, then you have transcended. So sign number 4 of this week has something to do with Mars and Uranus. As I told you last week, we have yet another round of a square between the two. And this means, go figure, with Uranus in an earth sign in Taurus, so much eruption, so much activity because of Mars. It's a square to Mars in the revolutionary sign of Aquarius. So many things are going on. Like Mars is also a fiery. So we have, large fires. There's been a lot of large fires all around, not only this summer here in our part of the world, but also in the United States, and still going on. And we have a lot of earthquakes. Like, for example, because I live in Tokyo also, I have this program that can show me every time there's an earthquake in Tokyo. And even though I'm in Denmark right now, I can see where my family is, and they are having so many earthquakes these days, like crazy. So earthquake after earthquake after earthquake, and that's not only Japan, all over the world. The earth is responding. We have earthquake. We just had an earthquake in Denmark. We don't have a continental plate zone in Denmark. But they have discovered that there are zones so deeply down in the earth, below the continental plates, that can also cause eruptions, but only if they are really strong. The earth is really responding now. She is trying to dissolve the tension that is there. And I'm also seeing this connected to the lack of yin energy and the feminine side of in our society, Venus, and the things going on in Cancer, and the whole Venus story of the shadow phase, but also that we are having the North Node moving into Cancer soon enough. This has got something to do with the feminine, the earth. The Mother Earth is saying, no way, please stop. She is responding, she is reacting strongly. And she's calling upon us to change, to respect the feminine sides of our nature, of her nature. Signo número 4 de esa semana tiene que ver con Uranus. Urano en Tauro, un signo de tierra, y Marte y en Acuario, el signo de revolución. Y en cuadrado la tercera vez, hasta hace mayo. Tantas erupciones de la tierra han pasado, tantos fuegos, ¿cómo se llama cuando hay una fogata muy grande? ¿Cómo se llama? Bosques, también en ciudades, etcétera, quemando. Quemar, se llama quemar, ¿no? Y eso es Marte, fuego, por supuesto, pero la tierra habla a nosotros. Esa mujer, la tierra, no quiere más suprimiendo, no quiere más estar suprimido, suprimida. Es como en nuestra sociedad, es exactamente lo mismo, que tenemos una paradigma patriarcal. Y eso tiene que ver con todos los aspectos masculinos, y no tiene que ver con mujeres y hombres tanto como que, porque también las mujeres toman esa de estar fuerte y de tener éxito y de esa manera así que los valores femeninas como intuición tiene que ver también con sentir su cuerpo, sentir la tierra, respetar a sus límites, estar en el mundo de los sentimientos, de la fe, de la espiritualidad. No hay una armonía. Es desequilibrada ahora misma. Y por eso ella está haciendo terremotos y volcanes que están salpicando bolas de fuego y cosas así para llamar atención. ¡Hey! Escuchas que tenéis que cambiar algo, y para mí eso tiene que ver con Venus, que ahora está en focus, una calidad femenina, y a la vez que tenemos el nodo norte que está acercándose Cáncer, donde va a estar después de noviembre durante 1 año y medio. Tenemos que subir y no le importa si eres mujer o hombre, todo el mundo tenemos que respetar y subir las calidades femeninas. Y eso no tiene que ver con que los hombres tienen que pintar las uñas o cosas así, nada. Tiene que ver con la capacidad de recibir, de estar abierta, de abrir su corazón, de usar su intuición, de estar suave, dulce, de sentir tu cuerpo, respetar al cuerpo, oír, escuchar, en vez de siempre hablar, recibir información, recibir amor, recibir a la gente, en vez de siempre estar en control y dar. Eso es lo que quiere la Tierra ahora mismo. Así que resemble a lo que pasa para la Tierra, pasa en nuestras vidas, ahora mismo. En del af 4 på engelsk. So basically, this is the last round because it's the 3rd time that they are in square, right? It started in May, June, and we passed it once before, and now we're passing it for the 2nd time. We want closure. People want closure. And at the same time, for nearly a year, Mars has been in contact with the south node of the moon over and over and again. And this has something to do with the moments where you have felt defeated, in your deep connections. So this defeat made you want to connect, disconnect, connect, disconnect. You went back and forth. Oh, you really wanted it? No, you didn't want it, you know, Aquarius. And with the South Node here, it's been so rough, but Mars is in the story, that's why I'm mentioning it. And then the square to Uranus is like, no, wait, we stop it. So the square to Uranus is about re-signing contracts, you know, redoing, saying, no, okay, this contract is released. I don't want to have anything to do with it. Then you can write a new contract now, perhaps, because you dropped the old contract, been through a period, and then you can write a new contract. And with Uranus, it's always about the unexpected. And since it's Mars, it's like unexpected storms, thunderstorms, electrical storms, any kind of storms in your life between people, storms in your personal lives, in your professional life, anything where this defeat is going on in your life. Yeah. So after this, as I started this program by saying, we are in a space between breakdown, breakthrough, and ascension. And after this, we will ascend with a new consciousness. So don't worry, there's a goal to obtain. Worth obtaining, and worth waiting for, worth fighting for, worth staying passive and receptive for. So, sign number 5 of this week is the card of the week. And finally I'm sitting inside and I can just draw them here. I didn't start anything outside, I'm just able to do this. Next week. Card of the week for the Capricorns is 2 cards. I usually only draw 1, but since 2 came out. Ooh. Okay, so you have to be able to see. We have the 8 of Swords upright. A woman is standing blindfolded, and she's standing in front of poisonous water. She has swords on her sides. She just left some city or something and is moving forward but seems to be trapped, or does she? This woman can walk, there's nothing blocking her from walking. She doesn't have to thread this, to step around in this poisonous water. She can unfold herself, unfold her blindfold and walk on. It's all in her head, it's all in her mind. She is keeping her trapped in a situation of her mind. She can choose to be happy, she can choose to change, she can choose to be someone else and expect the best instead of staying in any relationship, in any situation. She knows it's poisonous. She can choose to walk away. Why doesn't she do it? If you do it, there's a possibility, there are several possibilities you have juggling in the air right now, of you materializing, manifesting things, and you are able to, look at this guy, he's actually able to juggle with 2 different things in his life and in his physical life. It's Pentacles. So if you manage to step out of this, you can fully focus upon these things that you can manifest in your life. So this is, as I see it, the full moon the full moon in Aries is you starting over new in your emotional life. Aries, a new fresh start with assertiveness. 4th house for you guys. Start a new life by dropping the same pattern, the same way of thinking that you've always done. And then you can start materializing things in your career life and the goals that you have in your life in general more easily.
There is this angel singing.